before the Holocaust had a name, before a single train left for Auschwitz. Germany had already killed 300,000 of its own people. Not Jews, not political enemies, not prisoners of war. German citizens, in German hospitals, murdered by German doctors. One of those people was the niece of Adolf Hitler. And there is a real possibility that Hitler himself never knew she was dead. This is Aktion T4, the genocide nobody talks about, the rehearsal for everything that came after. And once you understand how it worked, you'll never look at the Holocaust the same way again. September 1st, 1939, Germany invades Poland. The world's attention snaps east. Newspapers, governments, military strategists. Everyone is watching the front. Nobody is watching what Hitler signs that same morning. It isn't a military order. It's a personal letter, 2 paragraphs, written on his own stationery. Not official Reich letterhead, deliberately, so it carries no legal weight if it ever surfaces in the wrong hands. He addresses it to 2 men, his personal physician Karl Brandt and Philipp Bauer, the head of Hitler's private chancellery. The letter authorizes them to grant, and this is the actual phrase used, a mercy death to patients deemed incurably ill. 2 paragraphs, his signature, that's it. No law is passed, no debate in the Reichstag, no public announcement. The letter is backdated to September 1st to make it look like a wartime measure. A resource decision framed as compassion. Within weeks, the operation has a headquarters. A confiscated Jewish mansion on a quiet street in Berlin. Number 4, Tiergartenstrasse. They name the program after its address. T4, the genius of T4. And it is a kind of genius, the darkest possible kind, is how completely ordinary it looks from the outside. It starts with paperwork. Every psychiatric hospital in Germany receives a set of questionnaires. Doctors are told to fill one out for each patient. Diagnosis, prognosis, length of institutionalization, capacity for work, routine administrative stuff, a census. The forms go to Berlin, where a panel of T4 physicians reviews them. Each form gets a mark, a red plus sign, selected for death, a blue minus sign, reprieve. These physicians never meet the patients. They read paper, they make marks. Some of them process hundreds of forms a day. Then the grey buses come. Families receive a letter. Your relative is being transferred to a specialist facility for better care. The buses have curtained windows. Staff accompany the patients. Calmly, professionally, no alarm. The buses go to one of 6 killing centers: Brandenburg, Grafenegg, Hedemar, Hartheim, Sonnenstein, Bernburg. At each center, patients are welcomed. A doctor does a brief examination, not a real assessment, just enough to write a plausible cause of death for the paperwork. Then patients are led to what looks like a shower room. The doors lock, carbon monoxide through the pipes. Minutes. The bodies go to the crematorium. The ashes, mixed, scooped from the floor, completely unidentifiable, go into urns. And then a letter goes out to the family. Your loved one passed away from pneumonia. We are so sorry for your loss. Please find enclosed their personal effects and remains. Families write back thanking the institution for its care. Now here is why this matters beyond the horror of it. That entire system, the fake shower room, the carbon monoxide, the falsified death certificates, the urn of mixed ashes, is transferred almost exactly to the Holocaust. The same architects design both systems, the same personnel operate them, the same deceptive logic runs through both. T4 is not a prelude to the Holocaust. It is the Holocaust's engineering blueprint, built and tested on Germany's own disabled citizens first. By the end of 1940, 1 year in, over 35,000 people are dead. By the end of 1941, the figure has passed 70,000, and then the number that I want you to sit with for a moment. By 1941, 1 in every 3 patients in a German psychiatric institution has been killed. 1 in 3. Walk into any mental hospital in Germany in 1941. Count the beds. A third of the people who were in those beds 12 months ago are ash in an urn, with a forged death certificate their family believes completely. The victims include people with schizophrenia, epilepsy, severe depression, physical disabilities, deafness, and dementia. The criteria aren't about suffering, they're about productivity. Can this person perform useful labor? Have they been institutionalized for more than 5 years? Do they appear on this list of approved diagnoses? Red plus, grey bus, shower room. And the doctors doing this aren't operating against their conscience. Many of them genuinely believe in the logic they have been taught, that a nation is a biological organism, the resources spent on lives deemed unproductive weaken the whole. This isn't fringe thinking in 1939 Germany. It's in the medical textbooks, it's taught at universities. Respected academics publish papers defending it. They put on white coats and go to work. That's the part that should stay with you. Her name is Aloysia White. She is born in 1903 in Austria. Her mother is Angela Hitler, the older half-sister of Adolf Hitler. That makes Aloysia Hitler's niece. At some point in her adult life, Aloysia develops a condition, likely schizophrenia, though the exact records are fragmentary. She is institutionalized. Her file enters the T4 questionnaire system. A physician in Berlin reviews the form. Red plus. In December 1940, 1 year into the operation, Aloysia White is transported to the killing center at Hartheim Castle in Austria. She is gassed. Her ashes are mixed with others. A forged death certificate is issued. She is 37 years old. Now here's where this story takes a turn that nobody quite knows what to do with. There is no documented evidence that Hitler ever knew his niece was in the T4 system. There is no record of an order to protect her, or to include her, or that her case was flagged to him at any point. The bureaucracy that killed her was operating exactly the way it was designed to. Automatically, administratively, without individual review at the top. Which means one of two things happened. Either Hitler knew and chose to let the machine take her, a demonstration that the program applied to everyone, no exceptions, not even his own blood. Or the program killed his niece, sent the forged death certificate to his family, and he never found out. Both possibilities are extraordinary. The first because of what it reveals about the man. The second because of what it reveals about the machine. That it was so sealed, so bureaucratically complete, so insulated from the outside world, that it could murder the Führer's own niece and nobody told him. A system that consumed its own builders. Here's something the history books tend to bury. People resisted, not loudly, not successfully, not at first. But T4 was not invisible to the German public. Families noticed when relatives died suddenly of pneumonia after being transferred. Local communities near the killing centers smelled the crematorium's smoke. Priests heard confessions from troubled workers. By 1940, rumors are everywhere. People know something is happening, they don't know what exactly, but they know. The resistance that actually matters comes from the church. In August 1941, Bishop Clemens August Graf von Galen of Münster delivers a sermon from the pulpit that is, by any measure, one of the most audacious acts of public defiance in Nazi Germany. He names the program. He describes what is happening. He calls it murder. Directly. From the pulpit. In a city. With the Gestapo agents present. The sermon is copied and distributed. It spreads across Germany. Allied aircraft drop leaflets of it over German cities. It reaches soldiers at the front. Hitler is furious. His advisors recommend having Golan arrested and executed. Hitler refuses. He calculates that making a martyr of a bishop would cost him more than letting the sermon circulate. Instead, on August 24th, 1941, he orders T4 officially halted. Except it doesn't halt. The centralized operation at Tiergartenstrasse 4 closes. The bureaucratic infrastructure dismantles. But the killing continues. Now decentralized, pushed back into individual institutions, carried out through starvation and lethal injection rather than gas chambers. This phase is called wild euthanasia. Less organized, harder to document, and it runs until the end of the war. The total death toll by 1945, somewhere between 200,000 and 300,000 people. The official T4 figure acknowledged at Nuremberg, 70,273. This is the part that should make you genuinely angry. Karl Brandt, Hitler's personal physician, one of the two men the letter was addressed to, is tried at Nuremberg in the doctor's trial. He is convicted, executed in 1948. Philip Böhler, the other man named in the letter, commits suicide in 1945 before he can be captured. Victor Brack, who ran the operational side of T4, convicted at Nuremberg, executed 1948. So far, justice. Sort of. But here's what actually happened to the T4 infrastructure. The killing center staff, the people who operated the gas chambers, who forged the death certificates, who drove the grey buses, are largely not prosecuted. Most of them are quietly absorbed into the SS and transferred east, where they take senior positions in the Reinhard death camps. Treblinka, Sobibor, Belzec. The architect of the T4 gas chamber system, Christian Wirth, becomes the commandant of Belzec and the inspector of all 3 Reinhard camps. He is killed by Yugoslav partisans in 1944, which is the only reason he never stands trial. Franz Stangl, who ran the T4 facility at Hartheim, becomes the commandant of Treblinka, where he oversees the murder of approximately 700,000 people. After the war, he escapes to Brazil. He is arrested in 1967, convicted in 1970. He dies in prison in 1971 of heart failure the day after giving a long interview in which he states he has nothing to feel guilty about. The knowledge, the personnel, the techniques, they all move east. T4 doesn't end. It scales. Here's what I want you to take from this. The Holocaust is often discussed as if it emerged fully formed, as if one day there was prejudice, and then there were death camps. The infrastructure, the logic, the personnel, they had to come from somewhere. They came from T4. The shower room at Auschwitz was not an invention, it was a copy. The forged death certificate your family received was not a new idea. It had already been tested 70,000 times on German families who believed it completely. The doctors who ran Treblinka had already run Hartheim, and the first person to die in a gas chamber disguised as a shower was not Jewish. She was German. She was disabled. She was institutionalized. She had a form reviewed by a physician who never met her, who marked a red plus sign and moved on to the next file. And there is a reasonable chance that one of those people, one of those 300,000, was the niece of the man who signed the letter that started all of it. Whether he ever knew, we cannot say for certain. Whether the machine would have stopped if he had, we already know the answer to that. It wouldn't have. That's the point of the machine.